In this video we're going to have a look at how we lay the sides of a right angled triangle. It's one of the core skills that we're going to need for our work on trigonometry. We've got three sides. We're going to call the first the hypotenuse, the second we're going to call opposite, and the third one's going to be the adjacent side. We have got a right angled triangle. We know that because we've got the right angle symbol in the bottom left hand corner. We are going to draw an arrow away from the right angle, and that's going to point towards the longest side, the hypotenuse. This should be familiar from the work that the definition's the same. If I draw an arrow away from my right angle, it's going to point towards my longest side, which I call the hypotenuse. I'd then like us to imagine that we're stuck in a triangular room and we're stood in the corner that we're interested in, this angle down here. The wall that I can't touch, which is going to be this one over here, I'm going to call my opposite side and label that with an O. So I'm stood in the corner, I can touch these two, but I can't touch this opposite wall, so I'm going to call that the opposite side, O. The side that's left I'm going to call the adjacent side. Adjacent means next to, so it's next to the angle I'm interested in that's not equal to the hypotenuse. Let's have a look at another example. So we've got another right angle. If I draw my arrow, it's going to point towards my hypotenuse, my longest side. Interested in this angle here, so imagine I'm stood in that corner. This side up here is the side that I can't touch. I'm going to call that O, and the side that's left is the adjacent. It's next to my angle, it's not the hypotenuse. Third example. Again, we're looking for this angle here in the bottom left. We've got our right angle. Draw the arrow away from the right angle. It's going to point towards my hypotenuse. Stood in the corner of my room. Can't touch this wall down here. So this is my opposite side, and the one that's left is my adjacent. It's next to my right angle, next to the angle I'm interested in, but it's not the hypotenuse. Fourth example looks a little bit different. This time we've got the right angle in the apex. Hypotenuse is my base. I know that if I draw my arrow in place, it's pointing towards my hypotenuse. Stood in the corner, which side can't I touch? This one down here. This becomes my opposite, and the one that's left is the adjacent. It's next to the angle I'm interested in, but it's not the hypotenuse.